Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Liza McCarthy and I'm a digital illustrator. In today's video we are going to be doing a part 2 to I can actually confidently say that it is one of my most popular videos, my third most watched and popular video by far. I did not expect the video of this, of this illustration, the sketch version that I did, like the sketch with me, I did not expect it to be as, as gaining traction as it did. I'm extremely grateful, extremely happy to, to have this kind of viewership and community, obviously. So this was pretty exciting. And I decided, usually I make this types of content like the color with me to kind of promote my coloring pages on Patreon, but I was like, okay, so this is a very cool opportunity type of thing for me to basically do it for my channel, because why not, if it's such an enjoyed video with over 175 views and it was like in 3 days or something, so this was like pretty amazing to think that my videos do gain traction and do gain viewership. I do make my videos in advance, that's what I have to say, and be very honest and upfront about. I do make them in advance. I record the voiceover in advance and I schedule my videos, so when they come up, it's not me sitting there and posting them, no. I schedule every single one of my videos. I just think that's more convenient to me and more efficient to my workload, to kind of balance myself out. And at the time, I either have like some, home chores that I do, reading as well, watching shows and all that, kind of in between making videos and editing videos. And I have a schedule when to edit and when to do all this stuff, like major YouTube stuff. I will be trying to have a special designated time for my editing, like editing days, which will be like amazing for my procrastination, right? But I don't feel like it's going to be something that I will be doing. I just genuinely feel like that wouldn't be me if I was to be so organized, like so particularly organized with my schedule. And I feel like my days tend to be more chaotic than I would anticipate them to be. It's all over the place, a lot of things to do, get done and all that. So I don't feel like I necessarily have to kind of make a designated time for editing, although that would be very beneficial and probably make my channel more productive, or have voiceover days. But I feel like I'm feeling when I'm feeling it, and I do everything intuitively, and I thrive in chaos. I feel like that's my way. I have a planner to sort it out, but usually when it comes to not posting videos, like in posting videos, obviously I'm very scheduled, very organized, and schoolwork and all that, but in terms of life, I'm a very chaotic person, and I feel like I want to stay that way. So I don't feel like I want to organize myself any further. One thing I want to talk about is recently I've been more bothered during my reading, because I'm just going to explain the situation right here, right? With the rooms and with me reading, right? And you're going to see how that's connected and what problem I have at hand right now. So when I read, I prefer to read not in my room. My room is like the second floor. My room has very bad lighting situation, right? In terms of natural lighting, not lamps or anything, it's fine, right? But in terms of actual sun and actual window, it is facing not the front of the house, so I really have bad lighting in terms of natural one, right? And I tend to prefer to read downstairs, where there's a television, living room. There are more windows, more lighting. It's a better situation, and I could sit there and comfortable. So couch, it's so much more comfortable than in my bed. There are people, I would acknowledge that read in bed, And I do that sometimes, but it's not as comfortable as sitting and lounging on the couch. One thing I do hate about being downstairs and reading my favorite plays, is that my family won't allow me to read quietly. Like, everybody talks, everybody has to play, everybody has to be like everywhere, listening to news very loudly, and switching on television and listening to movies very loudly, because everybody doesn't have like a boundary. And I'm like, I only read in mornings and afternoons in my room, but I read in mornings like downstairs. So could you please respect my need for a quiet environment? I'm not somebody who could really focus when there's a lot of sound and noise, and I feel very overwhelmed and I cannot focus. But when it's like a pool sort of situation, or when it's like a cafe, or let's just say music, like background music, I could do that, it's fine. But I cannot do it downstairs because the noise levels are like bad, like worse than a vacuum cleaner. If I can't concentrate while somebody's vacuuming, that says a lot about my family's like noise, right? Obviously. So I had this idea because I was rewatching. I watched all the new videos of the book Leo. I caught up on back, right? And she did one of her older videos, like 3 to 4 previously done new kind of fresh videos or something. I was just rewatching them, randomly clicked again, and she was advertising like Loop earplugs was sponsoring her, and I'm like, okay, let's just look into it, because I really didn't focus about that. That wasn't my problem at the time. It wasn't such a big deal to me. But currently I was in a search for earplugs. So Loop earplugs is like something I want to try out. I've read reviews, I saw everybody rave about it, like it's amazing. I obviously want to get the cheaper ones that like emit 26 decibels of noise, like they're noise canceling, and that's what I like in mint color. I think I prefer the design of the Loop Experience or the Loop Experience Plus, but Loop Quiet are cheaper and somehow they reduce more noise, even though there are more reviews on the Experience model. And I feel like I'm gonna go the cheaper route, and I'm gonna trust the fact that they emit more noise, and they're very good for sleeping, and traveling and all that. So I'm gonna choose them, and I'm gonna see whether they help solve my situation, because my dad actually just like jokingly said around, why don't you get yourself like earplugs? And that kind of sparked the idea. And when I was watching the video, I was just like, this is a sign, like this has to be a sign that she talks about the earplugs. So I'm hoping to get the earplugs as well. I made a sale this week. I'm very excited about that. And then I'm going to make, hopefully, I'm really crossing my fingers, like, all that I get another sale next week. It's supposed to be another customer, and I have to deliver another customized Lego for her. She liked the house, and hopefully she is going to pick it up because it's beautiful, and I'm like, it's amazing, and I wanted to sell it so bad. So somebody asked me, somebody wrote to me, what is the price of the Legos that you sell? And the price of this house is $51.95. Basically like $52. My Legos vary in pricings, and I sometimes run out of stock for them. I sell them online, but I only sell them locally. I cannot, international delivery doesn't work like that. I cannot do it. I will be trying to make my merch, but so far, if you want to support me and you want to get something from me, like a commission, link in the description for my Instagram, my commission is the way to go, or my Patreon, where I make a lot of art content, and you can just support me for $3 to $5, that's it. Or my Ko-Fi, basically, it's down there, and you can tip me. So if you want to do that, you're free to do that, or not. No pressure at all, the fact that you are watching my video means a lot to me, so no pressure at all, literally. But I want to get my hands on the hardcover of Divine Rivals, and the cover that I want to get is the one with the girl and the guy. I want to get that. I do not want to get the first original cover. I do not like it personally. I feel like this is more beautiful, more magical, lyrical, whatever. And I want to get Icebreaker, and I also want to get Magnolia Parks. I want to get the original cover of Magnolia Parks, and I want to get the first book and then see how it goes. So I cannot get the second or third book because I want to get the earplugs. And the earplugs, if you know them, they're quite expensive. They're like from 19 to 39 euros, which is pretty expensive, you know, with the delivery, considering it's not the best option. But I really want to get them, so that's kind of it. Another thing I have to say is the other thing I want to get, which is a priority over others, is the Summer Turn Pretty trilogy. There's a boxed set, which is more affordable. It's paperback, and it has the original, like, beautiful covers, because there's a cover for the trilogy which has the girl on the back, and I do not like that. I don't like real people on covers. I don't know why people have the urge to do that. Like, not it. Please don't do that. My personal opinion, again, as I said. But I really like the pale colors, the summery, beautiful colors. I really feel like that is the vibe I'm going for. And it has like all those shells on it, and it's so pretty, and I want to get the trilogy and then watch the show, because everybody in BookTube, again, if you didn't know, got back into TikTok, and everybody in there is just like Summer Turn Pretty series, blah blah and all that, and I'm like, okay, I need to check it out. And I feel like it's never too late to read a summery romance sort of young adult book. Like, it's never too late for that. Now, I am pretty sure you are wondering, like, how do I get your coloring page? How do I join this challenge of coloring a coloring page, whether it's digitally or printing it? Well, it is super simple. Hop back into the description box down below and click on my Patreon, join the $3 tier, and you have all the coloring pages. You have access to wallpapers, to coloring pages, to podcast episodes that are totally exclusive to Patreon. You have access to a lot of things, and I'm just gonna list them out because I feel like that's very much promotional. So you have access to digital downloads, newsletter, work in progress updates, coloring pages, art advice column, step-by-step guides, which I'm currently working on and it's taking out a lot of time, sketchbook feed, early access art, exclusive Patreon podcast. And if you want to join the $5 tier, you get work in progress updates, digital downloads, newsletter, exclusive voting power, early access art, step-by-step guides, sketchbook feed, art advice column, coloring pages, brushes I use, and you can download them. You know, I'm gonna put them down so you can download them and export them to your Procreate / my brushes that I create, mood board inspo posts, art video content, video tutorials, and exclusive Patreon podcast. As I said, I am working on Patreon video, but I don't want to overwhelm myself, so YouTube right now is my main priority, and it is going to be my main priority. So that is it. If you heard the background noise, it's me like literally stopping my Netflix from playing. I am watching Love is Blind. I'm in 4th season, episode 6, and things are getting like really, really juicy. So if you want a dating show, recommend that. And I feel like my brain is being hectic with me talking about everything. Like, that's fun. I don't know. So that's kind of it on the updates sort of side. One thing I've heard is that the book that I've got, House of Hollow, is actually a horror mystery, and I am just beyond excited. Somebody said, like, messaged me when I was like talking about it being fantasy, and it is kind of a fantasy. It's like marketed it as fantasy. That's what I saw, but a lot of you guys, not a lot actually, I got like 3 messages like, you know, this is kind of a scary, eerie book, and I'm like, okay. So that made me gravitate towards it a lot more. But I do think that after finishing Blonde, which I'll be finishing like this week or so, I will be gravitating towards fantasy, that's for sure. I will not be picking up The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo because I feel like I need a break from something like so realistic and so raw in like human life perspective sort of. So I am going for fantasy only, not even romance. I don't feel like I'm gonna pick up on Honeymooners or Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I'm not gonna do that. I feel like I am going to go the Cruel Prince trilogy route, or I am going to go the Heartless route by Marissa Mayer. I'm not going to go the Lunar Chronicles trilogy, since I do not own the fourth book, and I have only the first 3 books. I do not have the last book. I am not going to go A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, probably, because I'm not in a very thriller mood, and I'm gravitating towards The Cruel Prince, especially after seeing a lot of like TikToks about it, about the trilogy. I was just like, okay, because somebody said, and there was like this like literal quote that I remember. It's like, did I finish the book or did the book finish me? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to read something that made you feel like those visceral feelings. I'm just like excited, you know, I feel I'm really excited to pick up the trilogy and read it. I feel like it's time that I get invested in a little series. And then I want to do Hunger Games, or I'm still thinking. I'm a very much mood reader, so do not take my words as guarantee, but that's kind of my feelings out there, you know, if I'm being honest. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, and I hope you have a great weekend.